The She-Hulk season finale is TV and art at its complete worst. But before I do the review of this ridiculous show, I want to preface this by saying if you enjoy this show and you liked it, do not let anything I say or anybody else say deter you from enjoying this show. There are too many negative things going on in the world, and there's nothing wrong with enjoying something that brings you a little bit of joy. You're talking to a moron who spent 300 hours playing Anthem. Yes, Anthem. I thoroughly enjoyed the game, but yet I would never lie to you and tell you that it was a good game. And so that brings me to my next point. Criticism of art is not subjective. Some of us have to be honest about some of the art that we just enjoy is bad art, but it speaks to us. Sometimes there are really good shows, games, and movies that I just don't enjoy. Like Euphoria, for instance. Euphoria is a great show. Would never deny anybody that. It's just not for me. Remember True Blood back in the day? Yeah, my mother binge watched the hell out of that show. It was a really good show. Not for me, though. She-Hulk is a slapped together montage of feminist propaganda bullshit by a bunch of middle-aged old women, single women, who are angry that they don't have a dick. That is the best way to put this show. This show is bad, man. The finale was really bad. It made no sense. They will get kudos for trying to do something different, but the different didn't different. Let's go ahead and break down what actually happened, starting right now, after this. What makes you think that I'm an answer if you ain't mine? Even if you call me up on... We begin with Jennifer Walters getting the aftermath of what happened in the last episode. If you remember, she went to the gala to receive her award for Female Lawyer of the Year, I suppose. Come to find out, she ain't the only female lawyer of the year. And then she gets exposed by intelligentsia for being a whore. Her sex tape leaks. And basically their entire goal is exposing her for not being deserving of the powers that she received, I guess. And she hulks out and destroys a bunch of property. So now she's in the same prison cell that Emil Blonsky was in before she got him out. Her lawyer co-workers show up and they tell her that they're offering a plea deal and so they get her out of prison. And they basically the agreement was they put a monitor on her and told her she can never Hulk out. Now, maybe I missed something. They didn't make it clear on whether or not this was supposed to stop her from turning into She-Hulk. I think it was just supposed to monitor whether she turns into the Hulk or not. So, because I know a lot of people were saying that, Bruce said those can't be made. I don't think it stops her from turning into the She-Hulk. It just monitors if she ever does it. If she does it, she has to come back to prison. But I want you to take that and I want you to store it away. Remember, she's in prison for destroying property. Even though there have been heroes that have done a lot worse and they never had to face prison time. But She-Hulk destroyed a large TV, a couple of chairs, and a couple of tables, broke through a wall. So she has to serve prison time for that. But whatever. She's out now. She lost her job. She can't afford to keep her house. And she has to move back in with her parents. She moves in with her parents and she comes up with this whiteboard, the cliche murder board where they're trying to figure out who's at the top of intelligentsia. And she has all these strings going across trying to figure out everybody's identity and something like that. All of that's fine. But then out of nowhere, she just decides to go to Emil Blonsky's resort. No, hold on. Let's digest this for a second. So you are a character, or let's just say you are a hero, a superhero, allegedly, right? And a lawyer. And you just had your life ruined by some online group of people who leaked your sex tape. And your goal is to find out their identity so you can take them to court and sue them and have them face justice, right? Okay. Then out of nowhere, you just decide that, life is too much. I'm going to go on vacation to Emil Blonsky's resort. That makes a whole lot of sense, huh? No, it doesn't. So, on the other side of the alleged legal comedy, her co-worker is trying to help her figure out who intelligentsia is. And so she gets a mail call. I can't even remember these people's name because they're not even worth remembering. It's a white guy. that they work with. I don't know. I think his name was Pug or Pinge or Paul or some shit like that. But she gets him. She manages to take some footage from years ago that she got from Jennifer Walters' mom of Jennifer Walters twerking back in college or high school or something like that. And she posted it on the Intelligentsia website in hopes to gain some trust from the members, which she does right away. And they invite her to a meeting. She gets Pudge, Paul, Pierce, or whatever the case, to go and pretend to be the guy who posted that video. And so he goes in undercover, and there's all of these weirdos in like this little barn looking setting, and they're sitting around talking about how She-Hulk doesn't deserve her powers and she's not stronger than the Hulk. And basically they're using this scene to describe their haters online and everything else. Pretty much using all of the commentary that criticism online would face, like, oh, people complaining about her being stronger than the Hulk or whatever the case may be. Come to find out, that guy Todd is actually the leader of Intelligentsia. Because who didn't see that coming, right? Who didn't see that coming? But whatever. He's the leader. I mean, I don't know, man. This shit is garbage. Anyway, so Todd is giving a speech, and he introduces Emil Blonsky to the group as the Abomination. Here's another thing I want you to take and put in your back pocket. He introduces Abomination to come and do a TED Talk with the group, I suppose, or whatever the case may be. This was a potential for a twist, albeit a twist I would have seen coming. So I guess you could say I didn't see the triple cross coming, but they didn't take it. So Emil Blonsky is literally only there to do a speech. He isn't part of the group or anything. Emil Blonsky's there. Todd is there, and Jennifer Walters shows up, and then she see her co-workers there, and then Todd says, we were trying to get your blood. He injects himself with her blood, turns into this really defective looking Hulkling thing. Looks ridiculous. For whatever reason, after nobody was able to reach him, Bruce shows up as a Hulk to fight Abomination, and Jennifer's like, no, like, don't fight him. But then she's like, you've been turning into the Abomination, like, you violated your parole. Remember, we're gonna take that and we're gonna put that in the back pocket. He's been turning into Abomination. Also, Titania shows up. For what reason, we don't know. Now, Jennifer Walters is looking at all of this and saying, this is a mess. What the hell is going on? And she says, no. She breaks the fourth wall, right? And we are given the Disney Plus menu, and you would be forgiven for thinking that the fucking show broke or just shut down or crashed or whatever. But no, it's Jennifer Walters breaking out of the menu. She leaves the She-Hulk series and goes to like an Avengers Assembled series. She comes in contact with the cast and crew who came up with this show. And she pretty much is telling them that she doesn't like this ending. She doesn't like this finale, and she wants to do something different. And she says she wants to talk to Kevin. And they say, well, nobody talks to Kevin. And they would die before they let anybody get to Kevin, which I agree with Jennifer. That sounds pretty fucking weird. But whatever. They don't do anything. She goes off and talks to Kevin anyway. And Kevin turns out to be this robot. All right, and the robot is pretty much like, I control everything. And we get it. This is supposed to be a parody for Kevin Feige and all of that stuff. And Jennifer Walters is basically breaking the fourth wall and convinces Kevin to allow her to do her own finale. And she says things like, Todd is the villain, not the superpowers. So let's not do the whole he stole my blood thing. What? So he spent the entire series trying to get after your blood just for you to erase it at the end? Okay. And then she tells Kevin she wants to bring back Daredevil for no reason. She also says that there's absolutely no way that Bruce is going to come down and save the day in her show. Once again, more man-hating bullshit. And then, so she leaves and she goes back to her show, and then we're just there, right? Like, it's daytime now, and Todd is in handcuffs. Daredevil appears out of nowhere. Bruce is there. Titania's there celebrating with She-Hulk even though she was the villain all the way up until like episode 6. Yo, what? Anyway, now Emil Blonsky is going back to prison because he violated his parole. Can somebody make sense as to why Emil Blonsky violated his doing speaking engagements as the Abomination? Now remember, this is a guy who completely turned his character, right? Redemption, good guy now, talking to people, rehabilitating lives and all of that stuff. Doesn't fool with the internet, doesn't fool with anything. But he's just out here turning into the Abomination just cuz. Right. Okay, and so by the end of the show now, Jennifer She-Hulk is free and she's going off to go and fight Intelligentsia in court. No, wait a fucking minute. Remember, She-Hulk went to prison because she destroyed property. How is she free? She also violated her parole by turning into She-Hulk without permission. How is she free? This makes no sense. What? Oh, Intelligentsia defamed me. I'm suing them. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. What they did had nothing to do with you. I mean, yeah, it made you angry. Fair enough. But there's a lot of people who get made angry and then they go and commit crimes. It's called a crime of passion. Sorry, a crime of passion. So just because you went and proved that they are the ones that leaked your sex tape does not absolve you from hulking out and destroying all of that property you destroyed. Remember, whether or not it was justified that you should go to prison for that is irrelevant. You were convicted. Therefore, you should still be in prison. As a matter of fact, you should be going back to prison and serving more time because you violated your parole. But we're just going to zip past that, huh? Right. The Hulk shows up with a son out of nowhere. It wasn't satisfying. Daredevil is at a family dinner with her. Apparently, that's not going to be just a one night thing. Even though I would argue that in real life, Daredevil would have hit that and kept it pushing. I'm just keeping it pushing. She's a Jennifer Walters is not a good character. She's not a really good woman. You know what I'm saying? She's a lawyer, so she's going to be busy all the time. He's a lawyer. Everybody knows. I'm not even a lawyer. Everybody knows male lawyers do not date female lawyers. Everybody knows that. So there's absolutely no way this relationship, especially he's a fucking superhero at night. There's no way this relationship would ever go anywhere. But whatever. Once again, this show is a slop montage, female feminist propaganda from a bunch of middle-aged old women who are single and hate men. They wish they had a dick. That's all this is. Going back to the subjective talk, nothing else happens, guys. It's just Abomination is broken out of jail by Wong again. Go figure. Going back to the subjective talk, how do you accurately criticize art? You ask yourself, what does the art set out to do? Does it accomplish that? We're talking about movies and TV shows now. So what is that TV show and movie set out to do? What is its goals? Does it accomplish its goals? Does it have the basics, a beginning, middle, and end? Are the supporting characters, how well is that done? What are the visuals like? Does it make cohesive sense? Cinematography, the sound, all of these things. Well, The She-Hulk is a legal comedy. How much legal stuff was actually in this show? Next to none. Jennifer handled 2 cases. One where she got Emil Blonsky out of prison and on parole, which amounted to nothing because he violated his parole. And then the second was when she faced Matt Murdock, who destroyed her in court. Other than that, not much legal stuff going on. And when there was legal stuff going on, it was handled by supporting characters. 2, comedy. Anybody who tries to tell you that this show is funny, we're just going to skip past that. It's also a superhero show. I mean, I guess we'll give you a half a point for that. The story doesn't make sense. No one can really tell you what actually happened in this show. This is the finale. I'm going to go ahead and give this show a 3 out of 10. That's what it is. It's not the worst show ever, no. But this is Inhumans level of bad. Inhumans. That's all I got to say about this show. I'll holler at y'all later.
Let's go. Hey. Beat that thing down like you started attention, my baby. You had some plans with your man, just tell him to cancel, my baby.